Hello friends, how are you? Welcome back to a new lesson of this course of Hermetic Astrology. I hope you are ready because today we are going to study the constellation of Gemini. Okay, so we are going to start. Today we are going to start reflecting about this wonderful constellation which has to do with, let's say, the principle of duality. It is a Hermetic principle that has to do with duality in universe. It means that everything in universe is dual. Yes, but we will see that this duality is apparent. Okay, that it is visible, but at the same time, there are ways to transcend this apparent duality of universe. So this constellation, which is called Gemini, its symbol is are the twins. Yes, you know that the twins are two brothers, let's say, that are alike. Yes. So in this way, we can start seeing this duality. Yes. At the same time, they are uh, alike, but at the same time, they are different people. Yes. So we can say that in universe, we can find the same duality, for example, between good and evil, between light and darkness. Yes, for example, stars are an example of this. We can see the sky, everything is dark, but stars stand up because they are, let's say, bright. Yes, so we can find this duality, for example, between night versus day or old versus new. Yes, you know that there are some stars that are new and some of them are very old. Yes, so we find the contrast also there. Also between big and small. Yes, what is it? What is big and what is small in universe? Okay, between near and far. Yes, but the problem of that is what is, let's say, the criteria to say that something is big or small or something is near or far. Okay, because for human beings, maybe 1 kilometer can be depends on us. If I have a car, maybe 1 kilometer is not too much. But if I don't, then I have to walk for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Yes. But probably, let's say for all of us, the sun, yes, which is the closer star from our planet, is very far. Yes. But if we take into consideration the other stars in universe, yes, we can say it's very close to us. Yes. So this simple reflection that we are making upon duality, yes, somebody studied this duality in universe. Yes, you may have heard of him. He is Albert Einstein. Yes, a very famous scientist who studied the forces or the equations to explain the forces present in universe. Yes, so it is not about the theory of relativity, but it's very interesting to know a little bit about this theory because it will help us, yes, analyze also in which way our mind works. You know that our mind also, let's say, applies this principle of duality to understand things. Okay, so what's the theory of relativity? Basically, what he says, or what this theory says, is that matter, it means everything material, everything that we can perceive, that we can touch, is the same as energy. Yes? Okay. So it means that something like our physical body that we can touch with our hands and feel it is the same as energy. So he was able to demonstrate this, okay, with a mathematical equation, which was very important. It made a revolution for the physics. So what he said is that matter and energy are the same, but that the level of vibration of this, let's say, matter energy is different. Okay, it means that for something to be material, yes, it is we need to condense energy, or if matter starts vibrating very high, it turns into energy. Yes, so basically what he demonstrated is that as I said, matter and energy are the same, but in different levels of vibration. Yes, this is what it means. His famous equation, yes, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Yes, it means that when matter, yes, any material thing can be, let's say, exposed to a, let's say, a vibration, yes, a very, very high vibration, yes, it starts turning into energy. And why is that theory relevant for us? Well, first of all, this theory is called the theory of relativity because this duality, for example, between matter and energy is completely erased. Yes, it's transcended. Yes, because he demonstrates that everything, yes, that we can perceive in universe is relative. Yes, if we say up and down, this is something relative. Yes, because it depends on the points of the earth that we are. Yes, maybe for the Chinese, yes, up is there and down is that way. But maybe from the other side of the planet, yes, up is there and down is that direction. Yes. So, or for example, as I said before, for me it's very far. I don't know the sun, but if I compare it to a much further place of the universe, it's not close. Yes, it's not close for me. So, since our mind, yes, works, yes, perceiving things in a dual way, it means that we see everything or good or bad, yes, or black or white. So our psychology, yes, our psychology is too based on duality, yes. So this duality brings much confusion and conflicts, yes, inner conflicts and conflicts with the rest of the people that surrounds us, yes. This is why it's very important that we learn to transcend the duality within ourselves, yes. In general, our conflicts are produced because we think that the conflict is outside, yes, but the conflict is never outside. The conflict is within myself, and let's say I project it outside because I perceive reality in a dual way, yes. So today we're going to focus on that because we're studying Gemini. Today we will study the constellation of Gemini, which is the one that allows us to understand this duality and hopefully transcend it, yes, to find understanding and to be able to channel in a better way the energy, yes, that we receive from Gemini. So, what is it in universe that is not relative? Yes, what is not relative? Yes, what doesn't depend upon the situation in which I am observing it, it's called absolute. Yes, when something is absolute, it means that it's not relative. It doesn't depend upon my opinion. It doesn't depend on the place or on the situation from which I am, let's say, observing or seeing things. Because when something is absolute, it doesn't depend upon other criteria, yes, to be, let's say, appreciated. So, in the previous lesson, we said that the first cosmos is the absolute. Yes, it's called the absolute abstract space because this is the first order of cosmos where we said that God is there. Yes, there is something in universe which is a little bit difficult to understand for our mind because of this reality that we see everything, let's say, dual. Yes, but since this is not something dual, this is something absolute. It's something a little bit difficult for our minds to grasp. Yes, but we can say that in this dimension in which we said that God, Allah, inhabits the absolute abstract space or the first order of the cosmos, um, this is the place where from which our essence comes. Yes, we can say that within ourselves, within human psychology, we can find a small light, yes, a small piece of light that belongs to that absolute abstract space. Yes, we call it consciousness or essence. Yes, which is the real light that we carry within. Yes, what happens when this sparkle, yes, with this piece of consciousness comes out of the absolute abstract space? It is for making a journey to learn. Yes, so when it comes back, yes, it has the knowledge, yes, that it needs to understand, to know who it is. Yes, we can say that. So within ourselves, we find, like in universe, let's say, a very big contrast between light and darkness. Yes, between consciousness and ignorance. Yes, and if we, let's say, use the terms used by psychology, we can say consciousness and unconscious. Yes. Um, Taking into consideration these terms, we can say that consciousness is this ability that human beings have to be aware of something. Yes, awareness. Yes, but unluckily, this percentage of consciousness in human beings is very, very small in relation to the rest, what is called the unconscious. Yes, which is not a portion, not a material portion of brain. Yes, but actually a potential of consciousness that is not used. Yes, because our consciousness is only focused, let's say, or we can say only available for just small, for just a few things. Yes, in comparison to all the potential that we have to, let's say, to put into action the rest of the consciousness that is completely asleep, but that we call unconscious. Yes, or unconscious minds. Yes. So in that way, we cannot say that consciousness is good and unconsciousness is bad, though evidently unconsciousness is something not convenient for us, but it's not because we are, let's say, bad, but better said, because we are ignorant. Yes, it's not an ignorance that we can, let's say, solve by reading books. Yes, there are many people who are very, let's say, brilliant in many things, or they even have university degrees, but they don't have much consciousness. Yes, they know lots of things, which is one thing. I mean, I may have lots of things in my mind, which doesn't mean that my level of consciousness is high. Yes, we have this idea that if we know more things, we are more intelligent and we are more conscious. But consciousness, let's say, and knowing things are completely different things, sometimes opposite things, okay? I'm not saying that learning things is bad. I'm saying that sometimes we don't know how to use everything that we know. Yes? We will continue talking about this. Yes? The important thing is that we have this sparkle, this portion of light within ourselves, which is consciousness, which is the light that we have available to use. Yes, and how can we experience our consciousness? Yes, this how can we experience that this sparkle of light is active? Well, for example, we can experiment it when we are able to feel our hearts. Yes, when we are able to feel ourselves, to remember ourselves. It is not an intellectual ability. It is not an intellectual, let's say, function. Better said, it is a function that has to do with our intuitive sense of awareness. Yes, within ourselves, what is not consciousness, yes, or awareness, is belongs to the unconscious mind or unconsciousness, and is called also the ego. Yes, even though it has one name, let's say the ego, as if it was one. In the previous lesson, we studied that we have many, thousands of egos, which is not, let's say, evil, but better said, as I said, I will repeat, ignorance about ourselves. Yes, the ego can be defined as a set of psychological mechanisms that our mind has created so that we can interact, let's say more or less interact with our environment. But the problem is that these egos don't allow that our essence, that the pure light of our essence is expressed. It's something that we create to try to repair something, but yes, it doesn't allow that the real beauty of the essence of our inner light is expressed. Why? Because there are artificial ways, yes, of expressing ourselves. So in the end, yes, instead of learning how to solve psychological events or situations, we try to hide from them. We try to cover them so no one discovers what's happening instead of, let's say, learning how to wisely understand reality and transcend these obstacles that we may find. Yes. So, as we said, an ego may be origined, for example, by traumas, also by fantasies. Sometimes we have expectations that are fantastic. It means that cannot be real, yes, or cannot be, let's say, part of real life, and then we are upset, yes. Sometimes complexes, yes. I mean, wrong perceptions of ourselves, and any other kind of defects in our psychology. In the previous lesson, we explained or started talking a little bit about the elimination of the ego. Yes, it is not about killing our self-esteem. No, the other way around. Okay, because when we have ego, we love ourselves because of we believe fantasies about ourselves. Yes, if not, we cannot. Self-esteem, I mean, healthy self-esteem is about knowing who we really are and loving and respecting ourselves with the virtues and defects that we may have, okay? But not just that, it's because we are also going to improve about things, yes? I don't need to be perfect to love myself, yes? But I need to accept myself as I am to be able to improve, of course. So, um, killing the ego is something that we need to do, yes? Because in this way, we will have the tools to create light within ourselves, yes? To kill the ego, um, let's say, it could be a synonym of creating light, of becoming more wise, okay, to interact or to transcend the difficult situations, or not so difficult perhaps, but uncomfortable situations that we may find in life. Yes. So in this way, we can see that on the one side, we have the essence, which is light, and on the other side, we have this unconsciousness, these psychological mechanisms that act by themselves through us mechanically, completely mechanically. Yes. So in this way, mechanically, yes, is the opposite of consciously. Yes, because something when I do something consciously, it's because I'm aware of what I am doing. But when I do something unconsciously or mechanically, I don't reflect upon the consequences. I'm not aware of what I'm doing. Yes. So in this way, when I do things mechanically, yes, I'm doing it even if I have very good intentions, even if I have very good intentions, but they come from my dark side. Yes, the dark side of my inner universe. Yes. It's different when, let's say, what I do, what I think, and what I feel comes from the light, okay, directly from the light within ourselves. And that's the idea. We said that through the elimination of the ego, yes, it means to destroying these false or artificial or mechanical mechanisms that we have created to be able really and strong enough to wisely, yes, accept, and not just that, but also enjoy the situations that we have in life because we are mature enough, yes, to see reality as it is and to enjoy life as it is. So what happens when we eliminate the ego? Yes, we say that when some ego dies, yes, some of these psychological mechanisms, a part of our consciousness awakens, yes, to give us more happiness and strength. We said we create a virtue, of course, because the liberation of light within ourselves brings joy, happiness, strength, freedom. Yes, that's what we feel. And this is connected with the story of Aladdin. Of course, you have heard of that story, yes, about the genie in the bottle, yes, and when we rub in the lamp, when we rub the lamp, then the genie appears, yes. It means that within this apparent armor, within this psychological structure, there is light. The problem is that light is trapped, yes, within the ego. It means that when we discover, yes, the light or the message or the teaching within each one of the traumas or the difficult situations that have, let's say, shaped our psychology in a way in which we are not, yes, but we are able to break, yes, that armor, or better said, we can, let's say, make the genie, and then light comes out, yes, or better said, the genie comes out of the lamp, yes. This genie is our virtues, our inner light. Okay, so how are we going to be when we are able to kill the ego? Then we become wise. Yes, we can live with wisdom our life because we can go beyond good and evil. Yes, what does it mean? Our mind, yes, is able to transcend this duality of good and bad. This person is good or this person is bad. It's my enemy. No, we go beyond that. Yes, we learn to forgive. We learn to understand others. Yes, that's why we also transform ourselves. Yes, because if we want to become wiser, we need, of course, to transform ourselves. Yes, it means that we are not going to be ignorant about ourselves anymore. Yes, because we're going to not learn more things, but develop more abilities. Yes, to live our lives more wisely. And this is what we call illumination. Yes, we are, let's say, taking light from darkness. So once we are able to create lights within ourselves, we can also start irradiating. Yes, first of all, we start to shine, and then we can also irradiate others. What does it mean? That when we have light, yes, when we live wisely, let's say, we can not just improve our lives, but we also improve other people's lives. Yes, and this is not about saying good things. This is not about sharing nice ideas. This is not about, let's say, believing in fantasies. This is about really changing in our own lives. Okay, it is about improving, and it is about really affecting positively other people's lives. Yes, it is about catching, yes, the knowledge hidden behind the difficult situations that we may find in life and turning them into light. Yes, it is about transforming our inner darkness, yes, pain, suffering, miseries, into new insights that allow us to grow. Yes, so we can increase the amount of light that we have and we can find happiness. So we started this lesson, okay, somehow saying that our essence, our consciousness, this piece of light within ourselves is coming from the absolute abstract space, yes, from the great unmanifested absolute. And when we come out of this first order of universe, we start a very long journey, yes, around universe. And we, of course, since we are inhabitants of universe, we appear in some planets, yes, like for example, here we are in planet Earth, which is not just a dead planet or a piece of Earth, yes, dancing around the universe, but it is a school, yes, it is a real spiritual school, which is the school of life. It is the most important school in universe because it is the school of life, yes, more important than any university, yes, than any very pretentious, let's say, academy, because life is our best teacher. So in this school of life, we're going to learn about happiness and suffering, about, of course, within ourselves, we will perceive, even if we are not aware of what it is, but we will feel this conflict between light and darkness, between happiness and misery, yes, about ignorance and knowledge, yes. And what's the aim of coming to this school if we are not willing to learn? Yes, it's like when your parents are pushing you to go to school and you don't want to learn, then you have to repeat the year once and once and once again. Yes, but the aim of school, of course, is that when you learn a lesson, you automatically start the next one. Yes, because you can cheat your teacher at school, but you cannot cheat life. Yes. So life knows when we have learned or not the lesson. Yes. And the idea is that each time we become more perfect. Yes. So now we are getting to know why astrology was so much important for ancient cultures, because the voyage of different planets is not about just planets, it's about gods, who at the same time are not just gods or angels, they are our teachers, yes? And teachers, of course, expect something from students, yes? So, we're going to see now, yes, how astrology has been present or praised, better said praised, in different ancient cultures. Yes. For example, um, in what is today Mexico, um, in ancient times it was inhabited by the Aztecs. Yeah. So here we have an Aztec solar disk, which is basically a representation of its calendar. Yes. Then we have the Mayan calendar. The Mayans were also a very wise and advanced civilization, yes, and many studies suggest that the Mayan might have been the real teachers of ancient Egyptians, yes. Here, yes, we also have a Tiwanaku calendar, yes. Tiwanaku was also a very wise and powerful um, civilization, yes, together with the Incas that occupied South America, especially where now we find Peru, Bolivia, yes. Then we have the Roman calendar, okay. You see the pictures, very similar to the Greek one, which is the one that we have been based on to study during this course, yes. We also have the Egyptian calendar, yes, that we can observe in the temple of Hathor in Dendera. We also have the Hindu calendar, yes, very similar, yes. The Chinese calendar also, and the Japanese calendars also divided into 12, yes, but in a different way, yes, not according to the months of the year, but according to bigger periods of time. So they work in a different way. It depends on the year in which you have been born, yes, you will have certain, let's say, features in your personality. So as you can see, even if today human beings still find a very strong interest in astrology, scientists are trying, yes, to reach to reach new planets, yes, so we can even inhabit other planets, to develop yes, higher technology to explore space, yes. But beyond that, um, the study of stars has always, yes, inspired ancient cultures to know the origin of humanity and the purpose of our life. All ancient Greek temples dedicated to stars seek for reminding us what life is about. Yes, and maybe they were trying to remind themselves in the future. Yes, because what happens when you know that something will be very important in the future and you don't want to forget? You write down the notes and you paste it in the fridge. Yes, but you don't forget when the day comes. Yes, well, I don't know if you have thought of that, but maybe it is an erasable way in which we can remember how important it is that we discover who we are and how important it is that we discover our place in universe. Yes, I'm not talking just about our physical place in universe, but also within ourselves. Yes. Asian cultures adored stars and organized human time and human life according to the different cosmic events taking place in our sky. Of course, because we know that some astronomical events that take place in certain, let's say, conditions of time and space determine special activities or events taking place in our planet, even in our body, even in our lives. Yes. So if we want to be ready, yes, for everything coming from now on, of course, we need to remember moment after moment, yes, who we are and what's the purpose of our existence. Unfortunately, today, most human beings, yes, um, are ruled by atheism, indifference, materialism, violence, moral decay, and darkness. Yes. And this is a result also of human beings not knowing how to cope with the energies that we have been being exposed to. Yes. So, for example, when wars or world catastrophes or new illnesses appear in the world, they are mirroring cosmic events that we ignore. It is not that we can say that stars are to blame. The problem is that we don't know how to channel the energy, yes, coming from different events in space. So we just let ourselves go, react instinctively. So anything or any catastrophe may take place, yes, within our lives, I mean. Um, Because, as I said, unfortunately, today's civilization is completely indifferent to real spiritual life and cosmic knowledge. Yes, we think we are keen on space, yes, but not because of spiritual reasons. After this brief introduction, we're going to start with Gemini. Yes, we're going to start focusing precisely on the constellation of Gemini that we send that rules during the year from the 21st of May to the 21st of June. In our body, it rules our arms, shoulders, lungs, and bronchial system. Yes, we said that its symbol are the twins and its element is air. Yes, it is not just because you see that all these symbols and features of this sign are connected. Yes, because this is in the zodiac one of the constellations more connected with the mind. So you will see that people under this sign and are in general so intellectual. Yes, they think everything, they calculate, and they speculate a lot. Yes. So we're going to mention the perfume. Yes, which is mastic. Yes, it is a resin from the plant that we can use, for example, for smoking the house or for smoking the person's bedroom if needed. Yes, we said that the perfume, the plants, and the flower in each constellation are very special because they help us to make the body be prone for healing or for recovering. Yes, in case that, yes, we're not feeling well, that we're having a health problem or maybe an emotional problem, yes, we can use these elements of nature. The plant is the honeysuckle, yes, and the flower is the chrysanthemum. Its metal, yes, the metal ruling Gemini is Mercury, yes, which is the only, let's say, liquid metal, yes, on Earth. Yes, it's a liquid metal. It's also connected to speed, to communication, to traveling, yes, and in the same way that our mind can travel very fast, yes, from one moment to a very remote one, yes. So this is why this constellation is ruled by Mercury. Its colors are orange and brilliant yellow. And of course, the keyword is reason. Yes, the reasoning. The day is the day that rules during the week is Wednesday. Yes, and its planet is Mercury. This planet, of course, its name coincides with the metal Mercury, and its ruler, let's say the genie, the logos of this planet is Raphael, which, by the way, is also connected to medicine, is the doctor in our inner universe, in our inner world. So here, yes, we can see the picture of Gemini. Yes, we can perceive the duality. Yes, or we can also say the twins in the picture. On the white side, on the one side, we have the feminine side, and in the other one, the masculine side, the man and the woman. Yes, each one of them to one side of the picture, also associated with one column of the temple. And on the top of it, yes, we find an angel, yes, an Elohim, yes, which is androgynous. It means the supreme union between masculine and feminine. Yes, when the fusion between good and bad has been transcended, or positive or negative has been transcended. Yes, and in between we find the caduceus, yes, which is the symbol that we can also associate with medicine and well, with pharma. Yes, we said that Raphael is the ruler of this sign. Yes. And its meaning is very deep. Yes, you know, it has to do very deeply with the energy of our body, with the channeling through our spine. Yes, of the masculine and feminine energies. Okay, that when they are together and balanced, yes, then universal medicine, yes, is achieved. Yes, it means that the person can be healed. Well, we find different animals, of course, ruling both sides of the picture, and in between, yes, we find the monkey with the globe with the planet Earth on its hand. Yes, in that way, he is the one that represents the balance, yes, between one pole and the other. In the previous lesson, we said that to create something, we need three forces, yes. One of them is the positive, the negative, and the neutral. Well, in this way, we find that a woman and a man, yes, they bring the masculine and the feminine energies, but we also need the third energy, which is the one that will allow creation, and which is the union between both of them. In this case, yes, of the animals, we find that the monkey represents this wisdom, or this intelligence to go beyond one or the other side. Yes, it is the perfect balance of the scale. Now, something else that I would like to tell you is about the planets. Yes, here we have a picture of, let's say, our solar system. Of course, here we have all the planets orderly, but when they are turning around the sun, they may be, of course, in a very different position. But we have them here lined them up, and we will see that each one of them is ruled by a different logos. Yes, they are the 7 logos that we have mentioned. So just for you to know it, and what is interesting about that is that the names of the days of the week, you know, that they were decided as well as the calendars that rule us many centuries ago, but they have been based on the planets. Yeah, so maybe now the names are a little bit, let's say, far from the original, but they still keep, or some traits of these planets remain in the names of the week. So, for example, today Sunday is the day of the sun. Yes. In Spanish, I have included also the Spanish translation because it's interesting. You can perceive by the names. Yes. Well, Domingo, it's not similar to Sunday. Yes. But we know that in English, at least, it's the day of the sun. But for example, Mercury, okay, is Wednesday, yes, and in Spanish it's called miércoles, como Mercurio, yeah, so it's somehow similar. Then on Friday, which in English it doesn't depict well, or is not referred to Venus, but in Spanish we have viernes, which come from Venus, yes. Then we have the moon, whose ruler is Gabriel, by the way, and in English, we find Monday. But in Spanish, moon, it's luna. So we have lunes. Yes, lunes is the first day of the week, let's say. Okay, at least in Western world. Yes. Then Mars, yes, martes in Spanish. In English, Tuesday. Then Jupiter, yes, in English, it is Thursday. Yes, but in Spanish, it is jueves. Yes, Jupiter, jueves. Yes. And Saturn, yes, Saturday, yes, and in Spanish, sábado. Yes, so maybe there are other languages, yes, in which we can find reference to the days of the week, yes, in relation to the planets. But I just wanted to mention this because it's important to know that the way in which human beings have divided or organized time, yes, the days of the week or our calendars, have to do with the position, yes, of our planets in the universe. Yes. So when we see that a new constellation appears in our sky, it's because a different month starts. Yes, or we divide, yes, the year. The same happens with the days of the week. Yes, the same happens even with the amount of hours of the day. Okay, we're not going to talk about that in detail, but just for you to know how important for humanity is to know about astrology and especially about our origin. So coming back to Gemini, you can say that people born under this sign have a strong will, they possess a great courage, and are versatile, and they also like to travel, as we said, because of its connection with Mercury. Their lives are a mixture of successes and failures. Yes, this duality again. At times they live in comfort, and at other times they must endure much misery. They are very intelligent and become irritated very easily. The worst defect of the natives of Gemini is that they try to solve all things with their heads, yes, with their minds, speculating, yes, reasoning, never with their hearts, and this brings lots of conflicts. The problem is that they always want to silence the wise voice of the heart, and so since they don't listen to their hearts, they just listen or rely on their minds, they create problems and difficulties of all types. So we can say that this is the, let's say, worst or biggest defect of Gemini, trying to solve everything just with the minds. Instead of thinking with their hearts, they just rely on the mind solely. Okay, so now you may ask, okay, what happens with Gemini in love? Yes, well, we can say that in general, all signs, yes, have specific features in their psychology. And in all of them, there is a special defect, yes, that, let's say, makes our life more difficult than the rest. In the case of Gemini, we have said that this is the problem that they may find, let's say, the more stronger problem that they may find is this tendency to try to solve everything with the mind, and this is the same defects that will probably ruin their matrimony, their marriage, if they don't um, make an effort to transcend this defect. Yes, we can see that Gemini in general has this special personality. Yes, for them maybe it's normal, but from outside we perceive them as somebody who is one person at one time and then the opposite at the next moment. Yes, so it's a little bit confusing their behavior if we don't understand why they act in that way. Yes, what happens is that it's um, assigned ruled by air. Yes, so it's like when the wind comes and goes. Yes, so in that way the behavior of Gemini changes. And it's not just that, our brain is also divided into two hemispheres. Yes, one of it is more connected to art, to intuition, and the other one is more logical. Yes, so when so Gemini has this big tendency, problematic tendency, yes, to suddenly start being ruled by this reasoning. Yes, that creates lots of conflicts within Gemini and also around the person, you see, with his or her peers. So this is the defect that they need to change, that they need to work the most so they can improve their marriage, so they don't suffer so much, okay? And now that we are talking about love and Gemini, it is important that we can say something about the twin soul, because some people have asked about the twin soul. Yes, about if it exists or if it's just an invention, yes, or a deep desire that we all have, yes, to find twin soul. And there is a very nice, let's say, anthropological, let's say, explanation. The twin soul is said to be this first soul that we met or that shared with us this process after the Edenic fall. I don't know if you have heard of that, maybe, of course, because it's a story told by most sacred books, yes, the fall of Adam and Eve, yes, and in this process, yes, since all of us are not here for the first time, yes, our soul, yes, our physically, okay, we say, okay, we live for, I don't know, hopefully 70, 80 years, but our souls are immortal. So it is not the first time that we are here, yes. On the contrary, we have been coming and going for a long time, and but the first soul that we the soul with which we let's say fell from paradise, let's say, is the one that could be the soul that could take us back to paradise. So what happens? It is true that with this special soul, yes, we could be very happy. But why it is so difficult or maybe almost impossible to find this twin soul? Because of karma, yes, because after the Edenic fall, I mean, thousands of years ago, we have been committing different mistakes, and most of them probably connected to love, yes, violating the laws of love. So we have been hurting people, we have been cheating on this person, especially, yes, this soul. So, if we we're able to find this twin soul again, it could be because we have been already able to pay or to cancel, to kill that karma that we have with love. Yes, this is the key, the main key, yes, to find the twin soul, which is not something easy, but not something impossible. Okay, it could be really something great for us to find our twin soul. Yes, so if we don't, now we know that it is this karma, or the consequence of having violated too much, yes, the laws of love. So now here we have the constellation of Gemini. Yes, you can see that it looks like two twins. Yes, and why is it that they, let's say, they are called the twins? Because the brightest stars in this constellation are two stars, yes, that are twins, say somehow, yes. They have been called Pollux and Castor, yes, because um, they are mythological names. We will read a few words about this myth, which is very interesting, about Castor and Pollux, yes, the twins. So this constellation is ruled by both of them. Yes, there is no one more important than the rest. This is why they are twins. Yes. Okay. The myth says that Castor was the mortal son of King Tyndareus, while Pollux was the immortal son of Zeus. Both Castor and Pollux, being identical twins, were inseparable in their looks and actions. Together they won battles and did great prodigies. When Castor was killed in battle, since he was mortal, Pollux pleaded with Zeus to bring him back, but Zeus, yes, couldn't bring him back to life because he was mortal, and he couldn't kill Pollux either because he was immortal. So they made a deal, yes, that they would spend half of their time on Earth and the other half among the stars of heaven. Okay, Castor and Pollux. So in that way, they could be always together. Okay, half of the time in heaven and half of the time on Earth. Since then, okay, it is said that when sailors see these two stars together, they know that the journey could be prosperous, could be lucky. If not, the journey will fail. Did you like it? Okay, this is the myth about Castor and Pollux, okay, the twins. Gemini is also connected or related to the third labor of Hercules. Yes, it is called the capture of the golden hind. And this labor, yes, remember that each one of the 12 labors of Hercules have to do with the purification of the, let's say, of each one of the constellations within ourselves. So in this way, yes, the capture of the golden hind is really the name that it receives the process in which that we undergo while purifying, let's say, the energy or the psychological process under this constellation of Gemini. Also, Gemini is connected to the third Imam of Prophet Muhammad and also to the third apostle, yes, of Jesus, who is Judas. He was the one that they said that betrayed Jesus in his cosmic drama. Okay. Okay. Having said this, yes, we have already explained. We have already analyzed the main features of the constellation of Gemini. So we are going to now analyze, yes, our minds. This is very useful. Why? Because when we can understand our mindset, yes, we can do prodigies, yes, and we're going to talk about it in some minutes, yes. First of all, we need to know that there exist three types of minds, yes, or we better said three different mindsets, yes. The first of them is called the sensual mind, yes. What is the sensual mind? The sensual mind, we call it in that way, is the way in which most of the people, let's say, process the information. We need to distinguish, of course, between the mind and the brain, yes, because the mind is not the brain. The brain is something physical. We could say this is the device through which the mind is going to express, yes. But in general, the 99% of people's mindsets belongs to this type of mind, which is called the sensual mind. What is it? What does it mean, sensual? It means belonging to the senses. What does it mean? That this is the type of mind that processes information, makes conclusions, or understands reality based on the information coming through the five senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Yes, these are the five senses, external senses. Yes. So what does it mean? That my mind, or this type of mind, works according to all the information that receives through these five senses. Yes. It includes everything that I could read on the internet, all the books that I will ever read in my life, all the people that I will talk to in my life. Yes, all the things I will hear, I will touch, I will smell, I will taste. Yes. So we could say, okay, but is there another way? Is there another way to know the truth? Yes, of course there is. There are other ways. Yes, because in this way we can't really know the truth. This is the lowest way in which we can really know the truth. And this type of mind, we have the fantasy or the false perception that we can understand truth with this type of mindset, because with this functioning we can analyze, compare ideas, compare different thoughts, theories. We can analyze them, we can make an opinion, we can contrast them, we can draw conclusions. Yes, we can do all those things with the sensual mind. Yes, it means everything I will read, I will analyze, I will compare, I will make conclusions. I can do all that with the sensual mind. But that doesn't mean that I know the truth. It means that I just analyze what other people said. Yes, I read what other people wrote. I understood even what other people said, but it doesn't mean that I really know the truth by myself. Yes, it means that I'm repeating, okay, recollecting, contrasting, comparing, and drawing conclusions on the basis of what other people said. Okay, so in this way, we can't really know the truth, or even our senses, yes, which are very limited. Yes. Then there is another type of mind, the second type of mindset, which is called the middle mind. Yes, in the middle mind, we find the religious beliefs. Yes, it's a set of religious beliefs that I have acquired because of my culture or just because. But I'm not saying that they are false. I'm not saying that religions are wrong. What I'm saying that our mind doesn't know the truth in that way. We may repeat what other people, what books, even sacred books, even masters may say, but we have not experimented that. Yes, we just repeat something that we don't know, something that we have not experimented, but we draw conclusions and we base our whole life on ideas and beliefs that are based on experiences that we haven't had. I mean, beliefs of things that we have not experimented. It means that it is not our truth, it is someone else's truth, yes, which I'm not saying is wrong, but I'm saying that that's not our truth. It means we cannot experiment, we cannot know the truth repeating, yes, what other people say, even if they're okay. Yes, maybe they are or maybe not. Yes, but we can't judge, we cannot know, because this is not the way to know the truth. Yes, even if we have very good intentions. Yes, why? Because it is with the third type of mind, which is called the inner mind, in which we're going to really know the truth. Okay, so what's the inner mind? Yes, the inner mind doesn't work with outside inputs. It means it doesn't care about what Google says, about what books say, about what people, even very good and nice people say, because it works only with inner light. Yes, our inner light, which we also call the superlative consciousness of the being. You know that when we say consciousness, we don't refer to a special habits or psychological thing that we have learned after we were born. It is not something that we develop. It is not something that we acquire. It is something divine that comes with us. Yes, when we are born, we have it. It's something innate. I mean, we don't acquire it. We don't develop. It doesn't mean that it cannot be developed, but it means that it's not something that had been put into us, yes, because it belongs to us, yes. So this inner mind or this light of consciousness within ourselves is the only one that will have the right answer and is the only one that will allow us to know the truth within ourselves. Yes, this is why, for example, this ancient and very well known philosopher Socrates, of course, you may have heard of him. He said, I just know that I know nothing. Yes. Why? Of course, he knew lots of things, but they didn't belong, all those things, they didn't belong to books. It was not about Google. It was not about reading books, which in fact was a very, or a relatively new phenomena. Yes, because books are something normal, common today, but not in ancient times. It's not because he participated in lots of courses, because in those times, philosophers were the real source of knowledge. But where did all this knowledge come from? It came from his inner, yes, consciousness, the superlative consciousness of the being. Yes, which is the one that we need to develop. That is to say, this inner light, this inner intuitive intelligence that we have. Yes, only with the inner mind we can experiment happiness, because it is not about intellectual knowledge. It is not about going to university. It is not about getting a degree, which I'm not saying that is wrong. Okay, don't take me wrong. But what I'm saying that it doesn't belong to the inner mind. Yes, what belongs to the inner mind is the experience of the real, the experience of the truth that we can only experiment in the presence of our inner light. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the benefits, okay, of developing the inner mind. Because developing the inner mind is something really very, very useful. Yes, especially if you want to have your real spiritual experiences, if you want to know the truth by yourself, because we can have the lights, yes, to know the solution to many problems, to any conflicts that we may have. For example, this could be something great. Why? Because in general, when we fight a conflict, we a battle takes place within ourselves. What do I do? Do I do this? Do I do that? Yes, I ask someone, and maybe I find contradictory opinions, or maybe what others say, I don't agree with them in some way, maybe in another I do. But these constant contradictions will stop. Why? Because when I have the lights, I will have exactly what I have to do, yes, and how to solve any problem or obstacle that I find in any situation. So when these constant, let's say, contradictions stop, yes, we don't need to continue wasting this great amount of very valuable energy that we waste in thinking. You know, this endless chain of thoughts that we have during the day, that sometimes when our mind, we can't stop it. This is the result of conflicts that are unsolved within ourselves. When the mind is active by itself, it is telling us there are things that you haven't solved. There are still things that needs attention, so they mechanically start acting, yes, coming from the unconscious, yes. But when we have lights, when we develop the inner lights, this stops, yes, and all this energy that we were unconsciously devoting to this activity that we didn't decide on doing, yes, can be used for something more important, which is healing ourselves. You really don't know the huge amount of energy that we waste in doing something, even unconsciously, in thinking during the whole day about lots of things. This endless chain of thoughts that come and go, that never ends, is a really great loss of energy that affects the whole functioning of the organism. That makes us, this is basically what makes us age. Yes, not just that, but mainly. Yes, because when we are children, our organism doesn't work like that. Yes, so the idea is that not to become like, I'm a child, I don't understand anything, but with the experience that we already have, to develop this ability to stop, to stop the mind, to purify our mind, so we can develop our inner mind. Yes, and in that way, we can start feeling our hearts. We will not be gravitating anymore in the head, in the mind, but in the heart. Yes, we will rather start to feel instead of thinking all the time. Yes, and this is how we can experiment happiness again, because happiness is not something to be experimented with the mind. If not, I will just repeat in my mind happiness and I will be feeling happy. But sometimes I'm depressed, or I'm in the middle of a conflict and I say happiness and nothing happens. Yes, because I cannot feel with my mind. I can only feel with my heart. But unfortunately, since I am gravitating in the mind, then I cannot feel. Yes. So this is another, let's say, key. This is another ability that I will be able to develop when I am able to develop my inner mind. Yes. What would be the result of that? That I will experiment higher spiritual levels, like, for example, self awareness, continuous self awareness, because sometimes, if we are really conscious and we propose ourselves to do it, we do it, but then we forget for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, for the rest of the life. Yes, but let's say continuous self-awareness, inspiration, which is, yes, is something very important today, because in general we are just focused in getting money, in solving daily situations, but not enjoying real inspiration. Contemplation. Yes, we know. Do we know what is inspiration? What is contemplation? It's worth experimenting that levels of, let's say, spiritual awareness at least once in our life. Illumination. Yes, finally, this is the, say, hopefully final result of this process. Okay, so now, having said this, as in every lesson, we are going to share some questions. Yes, I hope that they are not boring. I hope that you take it as some homework or some help for your meditation, because the most interesting thing would be that you can reflect, okay, on these questions one by one on your own. Yes, especially during meditation, not superficially, so you can better know yourselves and, of course, continue this journey through the purification of these constellations. Okay, so how am I using my mind? Okay, we're going to reflect a little bit about that. Do I observe the thoughts that come and go through my mind during the day? Yes. Am I aware of that situation, of that reality, or am I just ignoring about this happening in my mind? Do I let myself be carried away by my thoughts, or do I live the present moment after moment? Yes, it is a very interesting activity. Okay, hopefully soon we're going to share some techniques about this to help ourselves. Okay, be present in the present. Yes, and not coming and going to the future or to the past. Okay. When I find an obstacle in life, do I think with my heart? Yes, think, but with my heart. Or do I just act compulsively? Or do I just act compulsively without reflecting? Yes. Or maybe I just think with my hands. Do I trust the sole logic of external senses to find answers? I mean, just what I can perceive with my senses. Or do I struggle and practice to have my own experiences and find the truth by myself? Okay, not based on others' opinion, but based on my own wisdom. Yes. How am I using my mind? Do I use my mind to judge others? Wow. Okay, sometimes we do, of course. This is part of the ego. Yes, to use the mind, the reasoning, to justify our egos and even to condemn others. Yes. Do I know everything? That's a good question because sometimes we look like we know everything. Yes. Are my thoughts a mirror of reality or may I be mistaken also? Yes. Do I trust arguments and ideas other people have without reflecting or experimenting them by myself? You know, this is serious. I mean, because if not, it means that we are just being carried away, yes, by other people's ideas, yes, intentions, and we just don't know. Do I take for granted that all I have learned in life is accurate and real? Yes, because maybe I have been mistaken. I can be mistaken, okay? Having believed, even if I have good intentions, but I may have been mistaken for years, okay? In my behavior, in my feelings, in my ideas, yes? So this possibility that I may be wrong may help me to question, okay? Everything that I think, that I feel, that I do, even that I do, okay? Am I able to question myself, to question my ideas and decide if they're accurate or not? Yes, because as I said, maybe we have very good intentions, but maybe our ideas, our psychological structures are not accurate. So in that sense, it is not about feeling guilty, okay, because we all commit mistakes. It's about improving and changing, because if we want to become wiser, of course we need to change. Yes, because we need to develop new abilities, we need to transcend, and we need to leave aside everything that is not positive for us, that is not convenient. Okay, so I will leave these questions for you to study them, to analyze them, not with the sensual mind, yes, but with the inner mind, which is the only one that is never wrong. Okay, so now we will get ready for today's practice. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. So bye bye and see you now for the practice.